Hey everyone, this is Himang at Innovation Sports and Life. Today we are going to be discussing a very exciting episode on bananas with a super passionate founder, Aryamman Agarwaal. Aryamman is the COO at Trident Foods, and we are going to be discussing about a fruit that we pretty much take for granted, right? We don't get excited about bananas, but there's a lot to look forward to. So, Aryamman, thanks so much for joining me here.
Thanks, Simon. It's a pleasure being here, and I feel we're going to discuss some great things today.
Yeah, look forward to it. Uh,
Yeah.
so, Ariman, tell me something about bananas. I guess you know a lot about the Indian market, and just before we started recording this, you were sharing some stats. So, like I look at bananas, I look at our fruit sellers, and we have different kinds, right? But sometimes we also look at imported varieties.
Mhm.
What is the state of Indian bananas like from broad landscape? What are we looking at?
So if I talk about the global perspective, there isn't much promotion of Indian bananas. So when they think of Indian bananas, they only think as an alternative substitute to importing something cheaper and at decent quality, at good quality. But they are not. They don't have that go-to feel of getting Indian bananas. There are some like for today in India, you'll see that a lot of niche people wanting Valencia oranges. They'll be like, "Oh, Valencia oranges, I really want them." There's no feel for that for Indian bananas. Grapes have caught that image
True.
globally, but where is it for bananas? No, because there is many factors. Number one, there is no culture in India for banana, and there is no, and the entire stakeholder community is not that aware. They're just trying to use it as a commodity to trade. No one is focused in creating a longer sustainable market. So I'll mention one of my peers, Sayadri Farms. What they did with grapes is phenomenal. Well, they created a culture, they created a brand image for Indian grapes as a whole, and not just their brand. So because of which there are multiple stakeholders that benefit today because of Indian grapes all over the world. Similarly, when it comes to bananas, no one is that focused. Okay, we want Indian bananas. We really we want to reduce the imports of Latin American bananas, which is the most exported bananas in the world. But we want Indian bananas. No, because they don't trust the suppliers. They don't trust the quality. They don't trust the infrastructure and the policies, and they feel that Indian bananas does not have that reputation, which is what we at Trident Foods are trying to achieve. Now, facts that people do not know. India is the largest producer in the world, but it is not even exporting more than 7% of its produce. That's a bare minimum, I'm saying. And
Wow.
yeah, that's too low. Which let's take India as a company. We are producing so much and we're not exporting anything. What are we doing with it? It's either getting wasted or it's either getting supplied in the domestic market, and that also and the chain is not that great. There's so much wastage, there's so much quality issues, because if you go to the local mandis, how many people are getting good quality bananas? Not everyone, right? You have those spots, you have those small, sometimes bad. So there's a big issue in the banana supply chain in India, and which is what hampers our exports as well. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an image for Indian bananas. That, for example, when I went to the UK recently, I was sitting somewhere and at the breakfast hall, and I got a banana from a European company called Fifes. It's FYFFES. Interestingly, its full form is fresh yellow fruit for every shop. Amazing name. So I was holding the bananas that they supplied to that hotel, and I was like, what does Indian banana not have? This is just like a regular Cavendish banana. We could supply this. We could do a good job at supplying it. But why not? It's just that we lack promotion, we lack that infrastructure, we lack a banana-oriented company that is managing the supply chain beautifully, focusing on quality, focusing on building a good sustainable market, and not just quick profits.
So I remember I lived in the US for a decade plus, and
Mm.
over there, you know, we would have bananas fairly regularly,
Uh-huh.
and you would see them at least in size. They were much longer, much bigger compared to, let's say, your average Indian banana, to
Hmm.
the point where they're probably 1.5 times the length. Uh,
Yes.
but in terms of flavor, I always felt that the Indian bananas were much more flavorful,
Yes.
much better. But does the world think like that?
So that's a very common question that I get. Number one, when it comes to size, yes, India lacks that size because of our farming techniques. As I said, farmers are not educated. They are educated in a certain way earlier, and they're just following that. They're not looking to improve their techniques or adopting better techniques to get more better quality, better length, better width. They're just happy with what produces and they just sell it off. Second part, when we talk about taste, yes, we get this so much, which is why Indian bananas is becoming popular as we export more and more, especially in the Middle East, because Latin American bananas have a bland taste to it, and the ones that you have in US are not very sweet, and
True.
yeah, and the Indian bananas have this naturally sweet taste to them. Fun fact: it was actually Alexander the Great. It is said in history when he was on a tour around India, and he found this plant. Now that scientific name is not coming to my head, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong, but he came across this plant, and that was actually bananas in India, which he took it with him in his travel back home, which is how bananas started growing elsewhere. So Indian banana has this kind of authenticity, I would say, and have this natural advantage. Which is why the flavor and the taste is just natural. It's God gifted, and I don't think anywhere in the world that quality and of taste can be given.
So when it comes to, let's say, exporting these perishables,
Mhm.
like in the US, like a lot of the fruit that we would see, they were imported. Like that's why we first got used to seeing every fruit has a sticker,
Mhm.
which growing up in India and particularly in Mumbai, we had never seen that. We never had seen any sticker. I'm like, why do I need a sticker on my orange or apple and everything? But that everything had that.
Mhm.
It looked much better. So it had an amazing shelf life. The
Uh-huh.
fruits would stay fresh for far more longer compared to what you have in the typical Indian household.
Correct.
You never had to refrigerate those fruits. So your, of course, our climate is tropical, so that's a factor.
Mhm.
How does the export of these perishables work? Because you have to firstly take the Indian banana and make sure that it is going to have that look and appeal when it sits on the stores out there.
So this is where the entire game lies, and this is where I think there's such many multi-million dollar companies, so many startups, so many organizations that are working on this. And similarly, as a fresh produce company, if when we are exporting such big volumes, we need to ensure that our technical team is very sound on this part. What happens is now in India currently, 90% of the packaging for bananas happens on the farm, not in a packing house facility. There's a table set, there's a washing tank set, there are multiple field infrastructure set where the entire packing happens, which is not considered unhygienic, but it is not considered to the global standards that are present in Latin America. And I'll tell you also why this is done. Because Indian market does not get that pricing or extra premium that Latin American does. So which is why most of the exporters and traders and most of the stakeholders involved over here use the field packing to save on that extra cost on the pack house facility that it would take. And because Middle East accepts that quality, which so it's a reason why people are not using pack houses. And because of this, what happens is the fruit lies in the field for more than, let's say, packed fruits, 6 to 8 hours, which loses its shelf life. Luckily, we are so fortunate that Iraq, Iran, the Middle Eastern countries, we have a very close transit time to them. Shipping period is very less, which is why this works. If we were to ship to Europe, our fruits would decay on the way. It wouldn't reach in a good state. Ideally, the bananas are supposed to get stored in the cold store within 3 hours of cutting. Once harvested, once cut from the bunch, it needs to get into the box, vacuum packed, sealed with the foam and everything, straight to the cold store within 3 hours. That will ensure that the shelf life stays for longer, which no company does or cares to do, even though everyone knows about it, because they just want to save on the costs. Number one, which is not, it can't be something to complain about. It is how the market is. It is how it's growing. So you need to adjust and you need to we are investing in that cause because we see a long term future in it and we see someone needs to do it and bear the brunt of it. So this is a very crucial part. Proper storing and cooling of the fruit is very necessary for us. After that, now it comes the reefer containers part, where we store it into the reefer containers and goes to the shipping yard and then the ship. And this is where our crucial partners to the Middle East, it's mostly private partners which play a crucial job at maintaining temperatures of the cargo. And then of course Mosque to some of the places where I need not mention, they do a fantastic job. So that's the main ideal part of this entire supply chain.
And once it lands there, how long does the fruit stay fresh?
Indian bananas right now can, so we've had cases where it stayed fresh for a week or more than that. So that's very good because the importer over there is storing it at a very good facility. But mostly, I think maximum it could stay fresh. Indian bananas, the normal SOP of packing that is there today, then majority of the exporters use, it could not last for more than 3 to 4 days.
Okay, so once it lands, it pretty much has to sell out. Otherwise,
Yes, they
it's
need to
going
ripen.
to go waste.
Yes, they need to ripen it and they need to start putting it on the shelves.
Okay. And now, when we talk of Indian bananas particularly, there is a big variety of banana flavors that we get, right? Like I live in Bangalore, where we get some amazing Yalaki bananas.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
Indian.
used to call them Elaichi bananas,
Yeah.
up in Maharashtra and in Mumbai.
Mm.
Uh, we have the red bananas here. We
Mm-hmm.
have plantain bananas. So, and some of these are also common in South America in some places.
Mm-hmm.
But the flavor varies, right? So, do we have a uniform palette for what I guess the export market expects when it comes to Indian bananas?
Unfortunately, right now, no. But I will tell you a few interesting things. So, Maharashtra, of course, as I said earlier, when you talk about bananas in India to anyone, they'll be like, हाँ मैं साउथ से बनाना वहीं पे सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर है किसी को no one knows that Maharashtra is actually producing a hell lot of Cavendish bananas. It's called, yeah, it's producing the most number of Cavendish bananas right now, and every year there are more and more farmers opting to produce more bananas. Some people are actually shifting from sugarcane to bananas because the realization is so good. And so when you come to pallets, see now we all know the varieties like Cavendish is the most common one. Then it comes Nendran, Puvan, the red banana. Then it comes apna Yalaki, which is very popular for chips, and even Nendran. So currently, Cavendish is the most exported. However, the ones that are growing in the south is mostly Nendran and Yalaki, right? So, and as everyone knows, a lot of South Indians have migrated to the Middle East. So it's a very set market over there where these they want their Nendran, they want their Yalaki, they want their jams, pickles, or whatever. So all this Nendran and Yalaki is exported to the Middle East a lot from the south, just for that segment of the South Indians. Otherwise, globally, if you ask me, there is not much interest in other varieties of Indian bananas, I would say. So, which is what we're trying to do is we actually recently got an interest from Iran for the small Nendran bananas, and we're very excited to do a trial of that because I think more and more the taste buds of people open and they experiment other varieties in India. That's a huge win for Indian bananas, and there is also interestingly a demand for red bananas in Japan. So we also want to cater to yeah the red bananas.
No.
We want to we
It's so
want to.
surprising because that is such an acquired taste.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but I know many in my family who are like, no, we can't have it because it's so different than
Yeah.
regular yellow bananas, and it's way more filling. Like you have one single red banana, and that's good enough for a meal.
To that. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, but when it comes to, let's say, so the brand which I recall in the US is Dole, right? We would see
Dole.
Dole
Yeah.
bananas
Yeah.
everywhere.
Correct.
And how does, let's say, our regular Cavendish banana compare to that? Like, what is the feedback, from, let's say, the Europe or the American markets?
So touch wood, our feedback is amazing. The quality we export is insane. But if you want to ask me about a standard review, a majority of the review from other standards, what happens is compared to Dole has a massive operations in bananas, and it is an industry stalwart globally. And what it's doing is it's packing standards, it's farm maintain. See, what's important in banana, is something called banana culture. So what we're doing is we're trying to get more and more industry stalwarts like from Chiquita, from Fives, from Dole to our team as consultants, as advisors to make us more technically sound and help us in places where we cannot fulfill. And one person, he scolded me once saying, "Oi, what you're aiming to sell bananas to Europe? You want to largest producer of banana? Take that and go home and sleep." And he was yelling at me. I'm like, "So what did I do?" And he's trying to explain me. You think if it was so easy to export bananas to the world, Peru the neighbor of Ecuador. Ecuador is the largest exporter of bananas in the world. Peru would also become one of the largest exporters. Why didn't it become? Do you know why? I said, sir, no, climatic conditions, transit period. He said, it has fantastic transit period, it has perfect tropical period climate for bananas. The only reason why it couldn't do it, because it could not create a banana culture. It is very necessary to have a banana culture to have that kind of exports. Yeah.
And that's a big gap which we're also facing here. So
Very big.
how do you go about, I guess, evangelizing them? Because you have to, let's say, work with farmers of all variety. You have to work, because we have small farm producers also, and we have the large scale farms as well.
Mhm.
Their equipment varies, their fertilizers, I assume, will vary.
Mhm.
Meaning, is that also part of this banana culture, or is it just you take the produce from wherever you get, and then there is an entire packing and shipping culture?
Currently, except a few companies like us and a few other companies, the main culture is just taking the produce as you can and just export it off. There's no control or investment in manpower or creating the technical team. But India is improving in that manner. We are trying to create the banana culture. We are trying to now we are going into our own plantations, our own backward integration, so we can also showcase the world that banana culture that we're trying to create and trying to create some kind of a tourism. Soon, hopefully, we'll be able to export a few boxes, and that will be packed by a few tourists because we are actually trying to promote tourism in the banana plantations. So people get to know more and more about it, and it's a very interesting thing that we're going to be approaching very soon. And so these farmers right now, there are two kinds of farmers actually. One are pure farmers that hold land and are growing banana and actually putting in effort and come and want to learn more and more and want to improve their quality and want to, increase their acreage or increase their produce or yield. And then there are vendors come farmers who basically farmers who become vendors and or their main vendors who are controlling a group of farmers in the banana industry. So and it's very commercial over there. They have a few set of SOPs which they try to follow. They're growing good. They're not going bad quality. They're going excellent quality. But it's the Middle East quality. See, now I'm not trying to degrade Middle East. Middle East is a very good market. But what happens is there's a certain quality level. Even fun fact. So do you know Iraq imports more than 100 containers a week from Latin America? A week. More than 100. It can be 200 also, sometimes only 150 a week. And
Whoa.
and do you know how many containers India gets? 20
20.
to 20, 25, 20 to 25. That's it. And I'll tell you, our transit period compared to Latin America is peanuts. Peanuts. Still, why don't we have a better market share? Only because of quality. Because we can't match that quality. Because Latin, as you said, when you were in the US, the bananas that you had in length, in width, and they looked so beautiful, right? And
Yeah.
our bananas will come with a bit of crowning injury, neck injury, rot in the on the neck, spots, marks. So they are the consumers have developed a taste of beautiful looking bananas, no marks, nothing. So that's the quality level we need to build. It's surprising. We have a 7 day transit period, 7 to 9 days transit period, and that's nothing. So why are we not exporting more? Why are we not even? We don't even have a majority market share of the Middle East. That's so sad.
And they are used to our banana palette, so yeah, we should be
Yeah,
having that.
yeah. It's all because of quality. It's all quality and infrastructure. That's it. And trusted suppliers. So it's building, it's building. You see, they're trusting more and more company. They're trusting us. They're trusting our reputation. They're trusting our brand. But they are always scared to import more. Why? Because they know the quality deteriorates. They know that Indian bananas will not match no matter what we produce and give them. They just it's kind of a mafia built by the Latin America, and we are trying to shake that mafia down. We're trying to reach Russia. We're trying to reach Europe. We're trying to reach all these other places which will give us a broader market because the Middle East is not opening more and more and more. We're trying to, but it's not. So this is very and it is very essential for these farmers, for these vendors to listen to companies like us and work with us, which they're trying to now. So there are approx 2,000 farmers that we can reach out to at any time of day in bananas, and they listen. They listen if something good, but it's just that commercial aspect. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, what does every farmer or every middle class man want? When they sleep at night, they just want, yeah, the food is in the fridge, my family is well, and there is money in the bank to take care if anything happens in the future, right? So you can't blame them if they're looking at a commercial aspect of selling their produce fast. But the company like us, which are building that level where we can support them financially and just tell them, you don't worry, listen to us, grow what we're telling you to, adopt these methods, and we'll ensure you that we'll make India one of the largest exporters in the Middle East, to the Middle East and the
That's
world.
that's a great vision, man. Uh, so then, I guess switching gears a bit, how does tech play a role? Because if these other countries are doing something well, I assume it's due to technology, and here I mean tech across all factors, right? You may have maybe better fertilizers. You could be in this whether it's natural organic farming or whether it's something artificial, or it could also be tech alongside their shipping and their related infrastructure. So how does tech play a role, and what can we do?
Tech plays a major role over here. So what happens? If I don't know if many people know this, but actually the best irrigation technology in the world is Israeli, and they are the geniuses in bananas. They are the ones who developed this entire irrigation facility. One of the known ones are Revulis, and the other company is not coming in my head right now. Netafim and Revulis. So they are the stalwarts in this industry, and I think that plays a very major role in India today, of how farmers are able to grow their produce and increase their yield with that management. And there are also a lot of startups like I would like to mention Philo, because I've been talking to them, and they've been doing a very good job in terms of irrigation control, and they've developed this software where you can get into weather analytics, input agri inputs. It's amazing, and I'm trying to do something with them in banana especially. And if we can, so that also plays another role. Now we personally are coming up with a tech platform that is soon going to come out to assist this. Only we're only focusing on the banana industry. That is because it is a beautiful industry, a beautiful market. There's so much growth to the, and there's so much outlook to it. However, it's not structured. It's like today, if a company is buying from, let's say, X vendor, tomorrow he's sending a he's writing it on a paper, 1,000 boxes, this is the rate. And there are some companies or small time traders who just say this box never came to the cold store can't find it, and what are you going to do? And these farmers lose. Well, they're like, okay, this year if I produced let's say 5 to 10 containers with bananas, next year I'll only do 2 containers. I don't want to take risk. The market is not good. It's so unstructured. So we're trying to create a tech platform that supports them with this basic traceability and financials. On top of it, we'll be covering the entire supply chain. We'll be giving them financing for agri inputs. We'll be giving them
Sure.
cold chain solutions. We'll be giving them, if they want to export directly, we'll give them international assistance. We don't mind. We want to grow the industry. We want to, of course, become one of the leading exporters and producers as well, but which we are. But we also want to grow the industry simultaneously. We want to add value. We want to make India, um, we want to make an Indian banana company that's worth $1 billion, which I think it's an easily achievable target with the volumes that Latin America exports just to one nation of Europe. It's amazing. We're barely doing 3,000 containers a year. They do 150,000 to 200,000 containers like it's peanuts, and it's nothing for them. So you can imagine, and our transit period is to the Middle East. We can benefit so much from it. The banana expertise, the fields, the soil that we have, we can benefit so much from it. There's so much to exploit positively and create such a beautiful industry. It's just, and tech is going to do a major role in that. This tech platform, the irrigation techniques, and so Latin American banana companies, Chiquita, and these are the major ones. Chiquita Fives, they have their own ships, so they're just loading in bulk, and they send an entire ship to an exporting destination. So that's what we're competing with. So you understand it.
So they've optimized their supply chain across every aspect possible.
Yes, it's so beautifully managed and optimized. They have their own cranes and port facilities. It's insane.
Yeah,
The level of investment they have in bananas. It's a banana focused company, yeah, and they're worth more
amazing.
than. It's just amazing. It gives me goosebumps sometimes thinking that a company can be so big in just bananas, and it's got so much values. And my father says that all you young kids that are using phones, laptops, and tablets so often, all these, I don't know if electronic how much electronic companies and all these tech companies are going to last in the future. But one thing which is why I really like this company is, even at the end of the world, people are still going to be eating bananas, no matter where you are. They still want banana. And fortunately, you can't print out a banana. Otherwise, you guys would do that as well and just eat it.
Crack a PJ. I mean, when you're thakela, you can eat a kela.
Yeah, do that.
But when it comes to I guess innovation, so we have banana as a fruit itself, right? It's being exported, but we're also very well known for banana chips. I mean, in
Correct.
which part of the country you go, there's
Mhm.
chips of all varieties. Uh, and what are the other products like? And do chips also get the same flavor? Because like in the US, all that it's still very much potato flavored or potato
Mhm.
focused rather.
Mhm.
Does banana have a scope out there? US, Europe, other markets, or are there other banana products which are being used, but in the Indian market we are not used to consuming them?
Actually, I don't know if you know this, but banana chips is a very big market in India. As of today, there are a lot of people. Of course, there's a few private companies that have come up with the branded banana chips, but even locally, banana chips is widely consumed in throughout India. It's a very popular snack for a lot of people, and which is what. And but in the US and let's say in a global market, I think banana. So there are many products. There's banana chips. There's banana powders. There's banana figs. There are a lot of people doing banana figs. I don't know if you.
Banana figs.
Yeah, you didn't know this, right? So a lot of people are doing banana figs, and it's done in South. It's done in South by a lot of farmers and small enterprises. And there's something called banana papar. So they're making banana papad, then they're making banana wine. This is something interesting I just came across, and we was talking to someone. So there's a huge lot of product. Oh, and there's banana fiber. So from the stem of the banana. So what we are actually doing is, in a global market, maybe banana powder can have a lot of use in maybe cereals or something. We are not looking at that right now. What we're looking at very intensively for the Indian market is banana chips, is banana powder. We're looking at fiber in a very big way,
Hmm.
making sustain because it's sustainable textiles. Who wouldn't? I'm getting in touch with a few companies to see what we can do with banana textiles together. Because I was coming across this company in Philippines who got support from someone in Italy, and they were tying up and they were using banana fiber and textiles to make sustainable clothing in so many high-end brands. And I was shocked. Why can't we do this? There's so much of availability of this banana stem and fiber over here. So that's another thing we're looking at very intensively. And banana chips and powder also we're looking at. So that's the main products that can be looked at in the future. So we are actually creating something called Beyond Banana. Okay, so because it what happens with Beyond Banana, our vision is it's not only bananas that we're looking at, just exporting bananas, growing bananas, and storing them. We're looking something beyond them. So that's going to be a line of products where it's the entire byproduct range. We'll start with maybe fiber, then chips, and then powder.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Aryamman, I mean, this is like a very exciting discussion for me because I know it's a fruit which I have taken for granted, like ever since I can recall. But to see you so passionate about it and with the innovations that we can look forward to, I mean, it's going to be an exciting space. And until this discussion, I never thought about the Indian export potential. And if we are at 7%, I mean, might as well we call it the bottom, right? Because the only way forward is up. So,
Correct.
really looking forward to what you bring, what other banana produce folks bring out to the market. Wonderful, Ariman, and really excited for your future.
Thank
Best
you.
wishes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Really looking forward to your innovations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.